Kahit asad si Mike Famila minamod Ayos naman ginawa ko pinuraman Tinufi zuniti Patawon sa notiyafi Cause I'm cool Cause I'm cool
Yo, what is going on everybody? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Dominic. If you're new here, I talk about all sorts of different movie content. Today I'm going to be reviving a little old series of mine called Why I Love. This is basically a series where I talk about a bunch of my favorite movies and why I love them. It's pretty self-explanatory. I made 2 previous videos. You can find the playlist in my channel. And my first one was on Bicycle Thieves, second one was on Playtime. I actually made 3, sorry. Third one was on Breathless, directed by Jean-Luc Godard. But regardless, I kind of don't want to ramble on too much. I just want to get right into the video. Today, I'm going to be reviving the series by talking about Fallen Angels, which is one of my top 3 favorite movies of all time. If you want to check out my full top 50, I just posted that a couple weeks ago. It's going absolutely crazy. Thank you guys so much for all the support on that video. But yeah, gonna be talking about why I love Fallen Angels. Fallen Angels is a 1995 film directed by famous Hong Kong filmmaker Kar-wai. This is probably his 3rd most popular movie behind In the Mood for Love and Chungking Express, both of which are films I do really love, but Fallen Angels is my favorite of the bunch. One of the big reasons I think that this movie, and specifically also Chungking Express, really excel is due to their style. The partnership with Wong Kar-wai and Christopher Doyle, the cinematographer, is absolutely fantastic, and it makes for my favorite cinematic style of all time. It has some amazing camera work, the use of wide-angle lenses and lots of camera movements is really intoxicating, and it is a very immersive way of moving the camera, and it's truly utilizing the full power that is the power of cinema. With something like a novel or any other art form of that sort, which is very kinda, I don't want to say one-dimensional, but very kinda set in time. For example, like a painting. Obviously paintings beautiful, they can be amazing, but they have the disadvantage of being kind of stuck in one kind of frame. You know, the painting is just this one frame. It's not moving throughout time. We don't get to see it evolve at all. It is just the same painting forever. And obviously that can work in a lot of ways. Obviously, you know, there's ways to appreciate different forms of art, of course. But my main point here is cinema is a very powerful medium in that you get to see everything that's going on in a certain time span. As the great Jean-Luc Godard once said in his film Le Petit Soldat,
La photographie c'est la vérité, et le cinéma c'est 24 fois la vérité par seconde.
Meaning basically the use of the 24 frames per second, obviously of film cameras back in the day, just showcased, you know, instead of one still photograph, it is 24 photographs in 1 second, and then over however many time period, that is how long it lasts. It's a truly incredible quote, and it really kind of encapsulates what is the power of cinema. And back to what I was saying about Fallen Angels, I feel like in a way it utilizes the camera in such a unique way that can only be expressed in the ways of film. Obviously there are some movies that are just absolutely fantastically well written, but at the end of the day, when you come down to it, the filmmaking sometimes is just incredibly boring, bare bones, bland, whatever you want to call it. It's as well written as a film is, it can be really boring still due to how it is shot. As a lover of film, I'm a huge advocate for visuals. Obviously a film has to be well written for it to be a truly great movie, but I would rather a very expressive and very emotional, visceral, visual experience as opposed to a film that is really well written but really just could not be more boring visually. The reason for this is if I really just wanted a good story and not really care about the visuals all that much, I could just read a book. And books honestly can go into way more detail about a story, you can visualize a lot more. The visuals in your head that you create while reading a novel can be way more interesting than sometimes a really well written film is. So in that regard, I feel like visuals are the most important thing to nail in a movie. Fallen Angels absolutely does this. It has a very fluid camera movements. It is very kinetic in the way the whole movie is just always moving here to there. It's cutting from story to story, from character to character, on top of the actual camera itself, always moving, always kind of changing up the frame rates. You know, sometimes it goes to a very choppy, slow motion. Sometimes it's still very smooth. Sometimes it's a wide angle lens. Sometimes it's a pretty normal, like a 35mm lens or whatever. It's very always changing, and I honestly think this is just absolutely gorgeous in the way that it just uses the full potential of cinema, and on top of that, it's just a fantastically well written movie. It's a bifurcated crime narrative. It has obviously bifurcated, meaning split into two separate stories. The first one is about a hitman and his partner kind of just figuring out everything to do with their business relationship and whether or not they want to spark up a real relationship. And it obviously goes into more detail than that, but I'm not going to spoil the plot for you in case you haven't seen the movie. But there are some absolutely fantastic action sequences, gun shootouts, and beautiful. The use of camera and editing in those kind of shootout sequences are it's just beautiful and incredible. I cannot get enough of those. And then the second one is about a mute man who kind of doesn't have the greatest relationship with his father at times, but at the end of the day, you kind of get to see how much he really loves his father. And it all kind of culminates with this very touching kind of montage of his dad, of old footage of his dad and him kind of just watching it. And then also there's a little romance story of a girl who was in love with the hitman and eventually kind of just rebounded on him but didn't actually love him. And then kind of getting into a little bit of spoilers, the mute guy and the hitman's partner actually end up getting together at the end of the movie, and I think it's extremely poetic. It really encapsulates the full title of the film, and it is just absolutely incredible the way everything plays out. They're both kind of, giving love but not receiving. They're very selfless the whole movie, and it really just all shows that, eventually if you're giving love out into the world, it'll come back around to you and you will find someone, even if it's not that person that you originally intended it to be. The characters are all super memorable in their own right. The music is absolutely fantastic, has one of my favorite film soundtracks of all time, and it really couldn't be any more perfectly paced. The movie moves along in such a smooth, concise manner. It's not super long, but it's also not too short. Kar-wai obviously is a phenomenal filmmaker and absolutely knows what he's doing behind the camera. Similar to Chungking Express in the kind of themes it tackles of loneliness and kind of love and depression sometimes, all that kind of put into one. A bunch of angsty people living in a very hectic and claustrophobic almost Hong Kong, and it really just one of my favorite shots of the entire movie is the final shot of the film when it shows the two characters that get together finally are happy as the camera pans up towards the sky. It is the first time we see the sky in the movie. It's daytime, which is the only time in the movie I believe that it's daytime. Every other scene is at night. It's in between buildings and there's neon lights. It's dark and it's claustrophobic. And then the very first time we kind of are liberated as a spectator, as the camera kind of pans up towards the finally daytime sky, it is showing that these two characters, they're finally together, they're free, they're liberated, they're finally in love with someone that they deserve to be with. And it's just one of my all-time favorite movie endings, and it just shows you how amazing Wong Kar-wai and Christopher Nolan are. And that's basically all I really have to say about this movie. I honestly could go a little more in depth, but I don't want to make a super long video because at the end of the day it's probably going to be bloated and I'm just going to repeat myself, so I'd rather just make a short video concisely explaining everything that I love about this film. I probably missed some things. If I really feel like I need to kind of add on to this video something that was huge that I missed, I'll definitely add it in the pinned comment. But other than that, that is going to do it for the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, click that like button. Let me know in the comment section what movies you want me to make these videos on, whether you want me to review a movie, make a why I love video, or just comment a topic that I should make a video on. I want to make some more videos, like if you guys are aware with Deep Focus Lens. She's a fantastic movie-based YouTuber. If you don't know who she is, definitely check out her channel. It is, as I said, Deep Focus Lens. She makes these topic videos where she asks a certain question to her audience, to her fans, and they give her responses, and she kind of talks about those. So like, for example, she could ask on like Twitter or Discord or whatever, like, who's your favorite movie director and why? And then she goes over responses, she responds to the responses, explains why she agrees or disagrees with that person, and kind of gives her own take on, for in this instance, that specific director. And I want to make videos like that because I absolutely love them. She obviously does them the best, but I still want to give it a go. So let me know in the comments what kind of topics you'd want to see for those videos. But other than that, that's it for the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.